Yo, 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 and welcome back to Creeps and Crimes
Podcast.
I'm Taylar.
I'm Morgan. Happy Thursday. Happy episode 285 and happy St. Patty's 6.0.
Oh my God. Who's shocked and stunned because we gave no warning that it was going to be today? Like, we did not say a word.
It was originally planned for next week.
Yes. When we saw that St. Patty's Day landed on a Tuesday this year, we were like, oh, that is great for us because, duh, that's TBB. So like perfect. We get to celebrate in real time. Naturally, we'll do it the same week of. So the following Thursday would be, which would normally be 286, would be St. Patty's Day 6.0. And then we were like, everything is this weekend. We realized, guys, no shit. The day that we recorded the TBB, like after we recorded the TBB that you just heard this past Tuesday. So now it's whatever day this is, Tuesday. We had to push our record. You guys know we've been recording on Mondays like good goals.
Yes.
Not good goals.
Very good.
No more, because we had to record this on a Tuesday because we were like, holy shit, we need an extra day. I have a Guinness to drink. Morgie Poo, what do you got?
I have a Hugo Spritz. The video I saw looked a lot greener than what I have.
Yeah, they literally had it like neon green.
They like doused it in mint, I guess.
Yeah.
I can't put that much mint in my drink, but I have,
wish
it
it
is
was.
Saint Germain, elderflower liqueur, soda water, Prosecco, mint and lemon. It's actually so fucking good.
In the intermissions, we might go do a few shots of Jameson.
You know how it goes.
You know, we'll just see how we're feeling, where it's going. These are actually our seconds because we did a little pregame while we chit-chatted.
A little pre-pre.
Anyways, we've got a lot going on for you. And also what we're going to be doing is we got to keep ourselves in check a little bit during this episode, because on real St. Patty's Day, we're going to be doing the TVB with you. And so we don't want to be like blackout because we're recording it after this.
Yeah. Might be a rough one.
Might be real rough. So we were like, let's just keep it cool in this episode. And plus, like, I feel like the cases that I have for today, and I'm sure for you too, based on like a little bit of the blurb that you've told me, I'm like actually just excited to talk about
Me too.
these two topics. I don't have the like crazy side of it, but
I feel like in the past we really, besides year one, we really were going like the mythological route, the gods, the magical
Yes.
creatures. This one is definitely more mature, but mine's still pretty fucking crazy. And I do want to shout out Kaylee, formerly Callie, because we said her
Formerly
name
Callie.
wrong 100 times, because Kaylee had sent me an Irish Tales book, and so that was so helpful in all those little blurbs that I was like jotting down. But then after, because we were gonna do like 3 or 4 each, and then I was like, wait a second, I was like, this one actually has a lot of information. We should just stick to 2 each, 2 stories each, save it. So a lot of them from the book are actually saved for 7.0.
Good.
But
And
I do want to shout out because that at least got my gears grinding. It was very helpful. 'Cause it's so overwhelming when you search stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we covered all of that.
But good news is that I found in our archives is our guide that we created last year that had everything we've ever covered in the past and everything that's been requested or thrown in the hat. So I pulled that up too, and I got one of mine I think I got 2 of mine from there because I ended up switching because I was going to do the ones from your book. But then, guys, just like you were saying, it went like the mythological route. And I was like, I don't know if I want to go that route this year, but also because we've said this every year, but like, genuinely, we mean it right now. We gotta slow down on how many topics.
Yeah, because
we
we'll
bring.
do like 12 topics in an
I mean,
episode.
one of my favorites ever was like the mythological history of Ireland that we did. Like that one was so fun. I loved it, and I'm pissed that we used all of that content in that one episode. Like we should have done History of Ireland Part 1 with the first half, and then History of Ireland Part 2 the next year. Yeah, which that was like Care Bear year. So what was that? 3.0?
Why did you remind me of Care Bear?
I'll never forget.
I didn't need Care Bear.
And the boots.
I need you to pull our outfits from every year. Wait, you guys have to see our shirts.
Oh yeah, these are our outfits for this year. If you're watching on YouTube,
we wanted something that was a little bit more versatile,
that we could wear like year round, that we could sport Ireland at all times. I
love them.
They're so cute. Where'd you find these at?
This is from the Irish store or the irishshop.com, I think is what it was called.
They're so good quality too.
No, they really are. It's like a great embroider.
Yes, it's not like screen print, so it's really nice, and the quality's great too.
And the way they were shipped, it definitely made me think that they were some from, oh my God, from someone's house.
Yeah.
So that made me like feel a lot better
That
because
it's like a little small business.
I was fighting someone on Etsy who was clearly just trying to profit off the fact that
it's already hitting.
off the fact that it was St. Patrick's Day coming up, and they wanted to charge me for expedited shipping $70 per sweatshirt that was priced at $35. Oof. So,
and by the way,
over 200%.
The expedited quote unquote that she was asking for was to be delivered within 2 weeks of ordering date. Yeah. $70 to get it in 2 weeks.
Yeah. It was ridiculous. It was over 200% of the actual product cost.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, you're not fooling me. You probably get a lot of people, but you're not getting me. I'll find someone else.
No, yeah.
Wait, I have something I wanted to talk to you about. I know this isn't the episode for it, but it's so funny.
Well, we need to catch up because we haven't talked to you guys in real time.
Well, this isn't even a personal catch up. This is a question. Have you seen the story about the Dolphin Man?
The Dolphin Man? No.
No. So last Monday, Fort Myers police in Florida found this guy on the beach who was like extremely exhausted and burnt to a crisp and had like abrasions all over him. And I don't know if he was reported missing and they were looking for him, or if they just happened to like come up on this guy, but he was in the sand and he was drawing like a bunch of like architectural things like in the sand with a stick.
What?
Like building plans, right?
Okay.
And so this guy actually was a student, I think, at MIT, and he was some sort of engineer. I want to say it was like aeronautical, but like maybe not, some sort of engineer. And so when they take him to the hospital, they do all this test on him. Like he was showing signs of like deep sea water in his lungs, but like there was no injury. He was cleared of any sort of hallucinogenic or drug in his system. And he was like cleared mentally, like competent, like he was clear-minded. So they asked him what had happened because he had been missing for 3 days. And he says that he was swimming offshore at Fort Myers Beach when a dolphin comes up to him and just kind of like is like testing the waters around him. And then next thing he knows, there's 4. Then there's 5. And he said, next thing I know, I'm blacked out and I wake up 40 feet submerged underwater by a pack of dolphins.
Oh my God.
It's crazier. And he says that they took him there to build an underwater city with coral.
Okay. All right.
And they were like, how did you breathe underwater for 3 days? And he was like, they were creating air bubbles for me. And they're like, how did you communicate with them? And he was like, they're clicks. He said, it took me about an hour to understand what they were saying, but their clicks, I eventually just adapted and I knew what they needed.
I mean, it's like when I was in Spain and I didn't know what anybody was singing, and then all of a sudden I understood it perfectly.
All of a sudden you understood. And then he was like, their leader, his name was Gerald.
Not Gerald.
He said the leading dolphin was a big authoritarian figure. You did not fuck with Gerald.
Okay.
He said after he finished his project, they took him back up on shore and they told him, like, we'll be back for you whenever we need you again. This is a real thing, right? This man is like
from MIT.
Yes. Was cleared of it. Was not on any drugs.
So then
had
what?
like visible symptoms and signs of being underwater and out of the ocean. The abrasions, he said they were from the coral structures.
Yeah.
So
wait, so he built it in 3 days?
I don't know. I mean, he had a whole thing of marine life around him. All the 50 dolphins swimming around building. You know what's here's why I think I believe him, you guys. And I know that's a crazy take.
That's crazy.
Dolphins are so weird.
They are.
Like, they are very intelligent beings. They're, I think, the only species that have a frontal lobe besides us. Mm-hmm. And
I don't know.
I mean, I've seen videos, like, just in the past on TikTok. I don't know. Take that with a grain of salt. But that, like, we were researching and like trying to figure out their language, and then it was like cut off. Mm-hmm. Like, you cannot, like, I don't think it was illegalized, but I think funding was cut off to not understand their language. They're supposed to have like extreme healing properties, women giving birth.
That's what it is. Dolphin births are not allowed or something like that. There's something crazy about
There's
dolphin
a lot
births.
of weird, and they're also like very like sexual predators. Like they're very horny.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
It's kind of like those bonobos that we were talking about in the TBB.
It was just I just been thinking about it for like 3 days, and I've been wanting to bring it up to you, but it had to be on mic because I needed to know your reaction. I know your For You page is not where mine is.
No,
but I literally looked up an article. It was like Fort Myers News or whatever.
That's kind of
told the whole story.
I wonder what, I've been wondering what is, okay, this going like a true crime route. Do y'all remember the Brown shooting that happened like 6 months? In the last 6 months.
The only thing I remember is a text from you that says shooting at Brown.
Yes. Okay. And it was on the news for like a month straight. Well, right after, like a week after, maybe 3 days, an MIT professor was found shot to death on his front like walkway outside of his house, like in the middle of the night. I turned to Logan the day that news came out and I said, oh my God, that's connected to the Brown. Like I know for sure that that's connected to Brown. Like in what world would it not be, right? So days go by and they're like still on the hunt for the Brown shooter and also this unsolved, and they're not saying that it's connected. I'm like, when are they going to tell us that this is connected? Because it is. So finally, like a few weeks later, they're like, FBI believes that the MIT and the Brown shooting are connected. Duh. Like, yes, of course. And then nothing. Nothing, not another thing. It was scrubbed from everything. And I've been waiting for like the follow-up to happen from it. So anyways, going back to MIT, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, is there a project, how we've covered multiple times where it's like
later on you find out that this university was involved in.
That there's crazy shit going on up there, like some government shit going on.
Probably.
That's what it sounds like.
Because like a lot of like big dogs in the tech world are huge like MIT people.
Yeah.
So like I'm sure that they just get massive amounts of funding and then probably do get government contracts and yeah, that's something to think about. That's fucking crazy.
I know. And then you talking about that guy, I'm like,
and then the dolphin man,
right? Like, what's going on at MIT?
He's like, no, I understood them. They were giving me air. Why is it so hard to believe? Is what he was literally saying to the police.
Sure, because listen to yourself.
You're saying you were underwater
take a step
for
back.
3 days.
Right, exactly. And I know that was a little bit more on the conspiracy true crime side, so I don't want anyone to think that I'm like being insensitive about that because like obviously it was a horrible situation that happened.
Well, I have a story to tell. This is my first drink in about a month and a half.
Yeah, she's buzzing.
I feel my cheeks getting red.
Oh my God. Well, they don't look red from the outside.
Okay, well, that's good.
You don't look red yet.
I'm literally probably the biggest lightweight I have ever been on a St. Patrick's Day episode. And so on that fact, I'm very scared.
Well, thankful and scared. Because thankful because like there was at one point where we were like, we need more. Like we need to keep going. And it was getting like concerning. And we were like, we need to chill. I will say that I do feel
little head ting.
The above the ears, like.
And Taylor's like Guinness. I'm like, yeah, you do that. I'm into you.
Yeah, I just, guys, I've not slept. Like, I cannot fall asleep. Well, no, I can fall asleep. I cannot stay asleep. And I know adding liquor to that situation is going to absolutely make it worse. And it's a Tuesday night. So, like.
I actually died not last night, the night before.
No,
my Oura ring.
Actually died.
We've had our Oura ring since June, end of June.
Yeah, July.
Oh yeah, July. Yeah. Your Oura ring tracks your cycle by tracking your basal body temperature, which is like the lowest or the average temperature throughout the night of your sleep. I don't really know the full definition.
Yeah, it's like what your baseline
and
is.
they do that for your cycle because it coincides with hormones like estrogen and progesterone. It goes up, it goes down.
If your progesterone's up, your temp is 100 up, and you're literally on fire.
And if you're on your period, your temp's down. Well, I'm on my fucking period. And let me tell you something. Yesterday morning, I wake up and my average, the most I've ever been down from my baseline is 0.1. Or no, I'm sorry, 1.0. 1 degree down. I wake up, I have all of these alerts on my phone that's like, we're disregarding your data last night. I don't know what happened. You're minus 2.1. My body temp was like 95.01 degrees.
That's like death.
Last night. All of my apps are like, I don't know what happened. Like, and
that's crazy.
And I was like, I'm so confused. I slept great.
Phenomenal.
Because it was like, you could be hungover from this, or you could have had restless sleep. And I'm like, if you look at my sleep chart, I didn't wake up one time.
You just were so dead.
My latency was 4 minutes. It took me 4 minutes to fall asleep.
Oh my God.
And then I just died. And I never woke up again until I woke up for work. It was the craziest thing I ever experienced. But I think I know why. I had updated the firmware.
I just got that alert today.
That morning as when I got it. And then I updated the app Sunday night. So I think it just like wasn't like.
It wasn't doing
connecting. Well, because like today I'm minus 0.02. Like that's normal for me.
Yeah, but mine literally today said you were your average. And I'm like, I know for sure I was not my average because guys, I went outside yesterday. Okay, let me tell you this. If I had a makeup wipe, I would wipe off my nose and my forehead and show you what I look like right now. You would be stunned. The UV was 6 for an hour yesterday. No, really? Not even. It was just like a high 5 and then a 6. I was like, I need to get the hell off this computer for like an hour. I checked the weather and I saw that it was going to be the UV and I was like, I'm going to go lay in the backyard. So I put on my like spray tanning oil that has like 10 in it. And I had on my like skincare routine that I do, AKA it's got my...
It's like 45
super
at minimum.
goop. Yeah. What is that? 45 that we have? 45. The glow? I have that on that I had put on earlier that morning. Throw on like a tank top and shorts and I go and I sit outside for a little bit. So I ended up sitting out there for like an hour and a half. I turned at one point to get my back a little bit, but I wasn't even like laying flat. I was just sitting in my lawn chair, like watching TikToks with my earphones on. I come inside and I'm like, oh, I got a little bit of sun. Like, yay.
Perfect.
I sit down and start editing your TBB and I get it out. And as I'm about to get it out, I get a Snapchat from...
I get it out.
I get a Snapchat from Kelly, our friend, and she sent us this crazy thing about they ordered a wood burning stove off Temu.
I saw there.
No, it literally was like the size of like my hand. It was so funny. And I was clicking to respond to it, and I see myself for the first time. I am a tomato. I have never in my life seen myself that red from being outside for 1 hour. I'm like, this has to be the lighting. So I put the phone back up and I record myself and I'm like, let me see my line on my chest. Take off my sweatshirt, pull down my shirt. I'm videoing this to send to the girls.
We all got it.
Yep. Red line.
Like tan line, like she'd been on a boat all
like
day.
I had been out on the boat all day. My face is a tomato.
What's the weather going to be like Sunday? I think I could use that.
Oh
honestly.
my God. It felt so good. But guys, I literally am so burnt. The top of my thighs are fried. Like
I always burn right here.
Well, luckily I had a planter that I had my legs up on, so I didn't have them bent at all. So like it was equal all the way across.
My knees always get it.
It's my like
Sunday's gonna be 72.
Okay, like that's the day, because if you want just 1 hour of being out there, guys,
3 o'clock is the highest.
You're never gonna believe. I've got to like get a picture of my forehead because I'm afraid it's gonna peel. Okay guys, we need to move on. Yes.
If you're driving, throw that shit on cruise control.
If you got a glass, pour that shit up.
And let's get creepy. When I go home, the girls won't leave the girls alone.
Morgan, are you lying when you are telling me that your body temperature dropped to dead and you literally didn't wake up for 8 entire hours last night?
I am not making it up, and I have technology to prove it, thanks to Mood. They're called Sleepy Time Advanced Gummies from Mood.com, and they give you 20% off your first order, and they have this 100-day satisfaction guarantee, so why not?
So you just like get high and go to sleep? THC always kind of makes me, in a gummy form, a little paranoid and anxious before I go to bed.
Now, I get that because that's what I thought too, but it's not just THC. It's CBD and CBN too. CBD is what helps turn off the stress and worries, and CBN is the one that actually makes you sleepy. Plus, it's got stuff like ashwagandha, reishi, magnesium, all this calming, soothing stuff in one gummy.
And it just like actually knocks you out.
Not like a pill where you'll feel drugged. It's more like your brain just finally shuts up. The racing thoughts stop, your body feels all chilled out and heavy, and you kind of just drift off.
Wow, that's really nice. But what about the morning? Did you feel like foggy and fuzzy headed?
That's the thing. There was no grogginess. I wake up and I'm just awake, clear. It was wild.
And it's legal?
100% totally federally legal. Like 2018 Farm Bill legal. Your regular mailman will even drop it right at your door.
Okay, so where can me and the besties get this?
Mood.com. Just search for Sleepy Time Gummies. And if you order now, you'll have them before the weekend. And then if you use code CAC Besties to get 20% off your first order. Seriously, the best sleep that I have had in years.
Yeah, I'm gonna need that. And if they don't work for me, can I get my money back?
Absolutely. They'll give you 100 days to try any of their stuff.
Okay, ordering right now. Mood.com.
Do it and then report back.
Oh, I will, for sure.
And tell me what your ring does.
I'm gonna be -4 degrees.
-4 degrees deep sleep.
Officially kicking off St. Patty's Day 6.0. And of course, in typical St. Patty's Day fashion, me and Morgan did just talk for 40 minutes off mic, drinking and yapping.
Yapping.
being crazy. So I'm gonna go first today because Morgan has of her two, she's got one that's like way longer. So we're gonna use that as kind of like our time keeper, essentially. So I'm gonna do my semi-longer one first and shorter one after the fact. This is Ballygally Castle.
I love the name already.
Maybe Ballygally.
Hello, welcome to Ballygally.
It's Ballygally Castle.
Ballygally.
I just kind of need to confirm. I listened to 32,000 videos, but
I'm butchering names, and
I'm really scared I'm going to butcher these names. And I did write down the pronunciations, but you guys know.
Tuatha De Danann.
We got that one. TDD.
TDD.
Yeah.
Heavily inspired by TBB.
We
inspired the gods.
Yeah, honestly. Located in the village of, you guessed it, Ballygally. Situated in County Antrim. Is that what I just said? Because I just listened to it. Of Northern Ireland, overlooking the Irish Sea. At the head of the bay sits the Ballygally Castle.
I love it.
Built in 1625, it is considered one of the oldest occupied buildings in Ireland as a whole, but the oldest, allegedly, according to only just a handful of sources, occupied building in Northern Ireland specifically. Now, if you were to pull up photos of this area and this castle specifically, you'd be like, I've seen that a million times because it's literally one of the prevalent filming locations, Irish filming locations for Game of Thrones, as is pretty much any location we've ever covered on this podcast about Ireland.
Be right back.
Because dead ass, y'all, when I was in Ireland, every place we'd go, they'd be like, and over here is where Game of Thrones was filmed.
Season 2, episode
And I'd be
4.
like, okay, like awesome. Okay, I've never even seen the damn thing, but cool. So, but I did watch Night of the Seven Kingdoms. It was so good. I loved it. Oh my God. And if you're not watching Paradise right now, side note on Hulu, season 2 is out and it's unreal. Okay. And there's only 3 episodes left.
What?
Yeah. Well, you have 4 because you're not caught up yet, but.
What do you mean only 3?
I know. The last one, the finale, is on March 30th. And I'm like, how are we going to wrap this up?
No, there's no way.
But then I was like, okay, there's time. Like there's a lot of progress made. And so I can kind of see what's going to happen next week, but I don't know how they're going to wrap it up.
I saw a lot of theories last week and I just hope they don't go down that route.
Okay. Well, I can't wait to hear the theories, but don't tell me right now because we got to work. But I'm going to hear them. So, Game of Thrones. But that is not what we are here to discuss about Ballygally today. Instead, I'm going to tell you the spine-chilling truth about the iconic but chaotic castle turned hotel that is so filled with ghosts that you cannot tell the living from the dead. Such as this elderly couple who had booked a room at Ballygally Castle Hotel around Christmas time, and they got in late after a long day in Belfast and drove the 20 miles north to the castle in Ballygally, but were thrilled to see that all of the guests and staff upon their arrival were in period clothing preparing for their annual winter ball. A man dressed as a timepiece bellman opened the door for the couple, inviting them inside, where they were greeted by a server who handed them a formal invitation to the ball. The couple rushed up to their room, got changed, and arrived downstairs to find everyone, like guests and staff, dressed to the nines with the crack up to 90 in a matter of minutes. The next morning at breakfast, the couple went up to the morning manager and thanked her for such an amazing and authentic event night that they had. But the manager just stared at them in confusion. The ball wasn't scheduled to take place for 2 more days.
What?
Thinking that this was just classic Irish sarcasm, the couple was like, you're funny. But like, we had a great time. Like, that was awesome. And the woman's like, I'm really sorry. We're not joking. And she was like, really concerned, but attempted to kind of like laugh it off and be like, you two are crazy, you young ones. So embarrassed, thinking that maybe they just had like the same vivid dream that night, the couple retreated up to their room, packed their things, and left.
What?
Especially after they looked at the sign on the wall that says winter ball.
I don't even blame them.
Tomorrow
I'd be
night.
so geeked out.
No, I'd be like, we have to. I'm so embarrassed.
One, I'm embarrassed. 2, what the fuck was that?
And what did we do all night? And I tell you this story first just as an example of how strong the spirits and energies are at this castle. Unfortunately, however, this would be probably the most tame encounter I would tell you about. It's the most bewildering, I'll tell you that much, but like tame in terms of like having fun and not having to worry about anything. So let's get into the history of Ballygally Castle. The castle was built, as I said earlier, in 1625 by James Shaw, who left his home in Greenock, Scotland, and traveled to Ireland in 1606, bringing his wife Isabella Brisbane, then Shaw, with him. And this was an incredibly turbulent time in Irish history. It's referred to as the plantation of Ulster. And this was the organized colonization of the province of Ireland. I hope I'm saying that wrong. I mean, right, Ulster. It's pretty much the area, like district or region that we now know today as Northern Ireland, if you're looking on a map, by the people of Great Britain during the reign of King James VI. But they did this by dead ass like confiscating the land from the native Gaelic chiefs by forcing them to flee Ireland in 1607 following the 9 Years' War. It's a lot of fucked up shit that I really implore you to look into, because what happened and everything that goes on there still affects life today. So James Shaw and his wife Isabella began renting the land from Randall MacDonald, who was the first Earl of Antrim, so the county, for £24 a year. They were renting this land. This is seafront property. Like, that's crazy.
It's crazy.
And the couple immediately began building their dream home, aka castle, with James' top priority being the safety for his family and Isabella's being the stunning design of it all. She was inspired by the style of this castle was inspired by her love for this Scottish architectural style. It's called like baronial. It's like baron. And then
perennial.
Y'all, yeah. It is a 4-story high building with very, very steep, like a steep roof on the top. And it's got these 4 corner high turrets. So like the the circles that go up with pointed little tops, dormer windows, and a stream that ran through the castle that provided fresh water inside. Really cool.
That is really cool, actually.
As for its safety features, which again was James' forte, the castle's walls were 5 feet thick.
Holy shit.
5 feet
For why?
thick? That's literally 5 inches less than me.
I mean,
I can
soundproof. Hello.
Right, okay. They were studded with these like narrow vertical slits that were used to like put a musket through it and fire through. And that's like not even it, because on top of that, they had giant fortified walls around it. Like, it was beyond gorgeous.
Fortress.
And now they took away a lot of those fortress features, but like you can see the remains of a lot of pieces of it. And like, obviously they can't thin out the walls, so they're still 5 foot thick.
That's insane.
That's crazy. And this came handy on several occasions, but most notably during the Great Rebellion of 1641, when the castle was again way more fortified. Repeatedly people attempted to take over this castle, and no matter how many times they tried, they failed. And so eventually they just were like, okay, we're gonna have to move on. How embarrassing.
That is embarrassing.
That's so embarrassing. In or
you can't
around
penetrate the 5 foot walls. Sorry.
1760, the castle buildings were actually extended as the squire at the time, the head of the house, Henry Shaw, got married to this girl. Her name was like Miss Hamilton. And the condition that they had to like agree upon for her to marry him was that her 2 sisters had to come live
Period.
with them, and he had to build them wings.
Period.
Of the castle, so that he had to like do
package
major
fucking deal.
Yeah, exactly. So okay, fine, sure, I'll just extend my castle 5 foot fucking walls, no problem. I'm sure that's gonna be no problem to get someone to do.
Literally no problem.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm sure we could easily bust through.
Someone
these.
get the giants.
Except for not even an entire army could do it. So all right, good. So anyways, they did that.
That's really loved her.
And the castle would remain in the Shaw family until 1799, when I believe Henry and Miss Hamilton's son, William Shaw, who was actually the last squire of Ballygally, sold the estate because the family's wealth had been completely blown through. Like, they were going into debt. The castle would be passed from person to person during this time, and it even had like a brief stint where it served as a Coast Guard station before it was purchased by Cyril Lord in the early 1950s. He was this like textile millionaire who refurbished and restored the entire castle, like went and like unearthed things that had been covered up that were on the original blueprint and restored it all to its original glory. Like, great, amazing things were done. Then he built on the extension that is the main hotel today, which is very like French chateau inspired, and it is stunning, like absolutely beautiful. And it's been since the 1950s when he purchased it and refurbished it and built onto it a active hotel. You could stay in it today, and it's stunning, like so gorgeous.
We would be there, and then we would also have a Hampton backed up
100%
on the side.
And guys, go look up pictures of it. Like, it is stunning. Like, the restaurants in there, it's a 4-star hotel. 40 out of the 44 guest rooms that are located at this hotel or offered at this hotel are located in the newer addition, so that French chateau area, whereas the original castle only has 4 guest rooms, and each of them are located in the high corner turrets, so like the corner circles of the castle, right? And one of them is infamously known as the ghost room.
Oh.
With the most famous tenant being the original owner, Lady Isabel Shaw, who designed it.
No.
And the story goes, it's really sad, that once the castle was built, Lord James and Lady Isabella began trying for, according to some sources, their second child, already having a son, which would be his heir, but James needed a spare, only for Isabella to give birth to a daughter. Immediately upon giving birth, James was enraged. He took their daughter from the hands of Isabella as she was still in the bed.
Oh my God.
Stormed out of the turret room with the baby in tow, locking it from the outside, locking Isabella inside, refusing to let her out to give her food or to allow her to tend to their brand
Pull
new
out 100 hairs and put it in
child.
the bag, root intact.
Haunted by the cries of her daughter from somewhere in the castle, that she didn't know what he had done to the daughter or where she was or like how he was feeding her. Also overcome with anger and hanger, I'm positive.
For sure.
So she broke the window in an attempt to climb out, but the roof was so steep that she fell off in her escape attempt and fell onto the rocks below and died.
Oh my God.
Some say, however, that it was actually that they had never had a son and that this was their first and only child, and he had to go find another wife, and that it wasn't that he locked her up there, it's that he killed her, or he locked her up there and let her die, or threw her down the stairs, did something to her and the baby.
And then he married the one with the sisters.
No, that's his great grandson.
Okay. This is
OG. 1625. Sisters was 17, about 100 years later.
Okay.
Just really tragic, no matter what.
Terrible.
At night, guests and hotel staff will hear knocks on doors and frantic footsteps up and down the hallways. Some have even seen apparitions of Isabella searching the halls as if she's looking for her daughter.
That's so sad.
Another version of the story is that Isabella was actually caught having an affair with a sailor, because we know that he had a son that he passed it down to, but there's no record of a daughter. I mean, take that for what you will. So the other version of the story is that that wasn't the case, but instead he caught her having an affair with a sailor and he locked her inside the room for that reason. Nevertheless, the constant run-ins with the spirit has prompted several ghost hunters and mediums to come visit the castle.
Even 400 years ago. That's crazy.
Just still being assholes, right? So according to Jeff Belanger, he's the Ghost Adventures guy, Jeff. Okay, you guys know who I'm talking about. His book, The World's Most Haunted Places, he mentions Ballygally Castle. In fact, he's like the first main person to ever come out and be like, this place is 100% haunted. I think this is his cousin, but it's this woman named Kim Linigan. She's a BBC investigative reporter, and she was working on a piece about haunted castles in Northern Ireland for a Halloween segment and brought along a medium with her for this segment. And together, the two of them went into the infamous ghost room and began recording. So they had like video, they had audio, and they're just like sitting around, not talking, not provoking, just like seeing what would come forward. because again, this place is so active in like the craziest times. So they've been sitting in the room for silence for a little while, and both are just kind of like tuning into the energy. They're not, again, not provoking, nothing. They're not even really talking. And she like made it a point to say like the medium is not in a trance. She's just like sitting there, just kind of getting the vibes of the room. When all of a sudden, the room gets like significantly hotter, like raises 10 degrees. So they're on, oh my God, that would send me and Morgan. I would rather a ghost make it cold.
No.
Do not make it hot. Like,
the way we actually monitored our temperature so
oh
hard.
my God. Literally, we got to go. We cannot be a part of this. So the room gets 10 degrees hotter in an instant. And in that exact moment, a spirit comes forward to the medium. And then at that exact moment, a smell fills the room to the point that you cannot deny that this smell is in this room. And it's this musty, okay, I'm going to come back to that word, vanilla scent. So you know like a Bath and Body Works spray, how like after a few years, if you found it in the bottom of your closet, it gets like a little musty. Not when it's 10 years later, but when it's like 3 to 5 years later. That's kind of what it smelled like.
Okay.
So it's not necessarily nasty. It's just like old vanilla scent. The medium tells Kim, the reporter, about this spirit who has come forward. And she says that it's a young woman who is scared and is looking for a daughter. She communicated to the medium that she was kept here in this room against her will, saying that it was actually an older woman who would not let her out today. Which was very interesting because like, who the hell is this older woman? We've never even heard of this. The medium said throughout their entire conversation, the young woman would continuously like move frantically around the room, but was always like running over to the window that faced the sea and like looking for someone. So the medium's like, who are you looking for? And she says, well, I'm looking for a man named Robert. Why has he not come back from me? She's like, I'm looking for Robert. He hasn't come back from me. He's at sea and he told me he was going to come back, but he's never come back. I'm worried about him. So that's getting to me like the sailor theory. But what's the older woman have to do?
Is the older woman not, is the young girl not the daughter who was sleeping with someone who was against the family? Like, you know, they had
was
family
the daughter?
clashes,
What if
and
they
it was her
locked the
mother
daughter?
that was locking? That's why there's no record of the daughter.
Oh my God. And she just like went on to have a son and they acted like that daughter never existed.
Exactly.
Holy shit. What if we just cracked that code?
Did we just crack the case?
If we could get on Ancestry right now, I would spend the next 3 hours on it. But like, unfortunately, I don't think we have Irish records, number one. And number two, we can't. So anyways, the medium is like, who are you looking for? She's like, Robert. He's a sailor. He was out at sea. He told me he's going to come back. He never came back. After this encounter, Kim told the medium that she was like almost too afraid to stay in the room overnight because like as soon as the woman left, the apparition like went away and the spirit left the room, the smell went away and that like static feeling went away and the room went back down to normal temperature. So after this, like the medium's leaving and Kim's like, hey, you sure you gotta go? Like I have to spend the night in here.
You sure about that?
I don't really want to be in here by myself. I'm afraid. The medium says to Kim, like, look, just like you, that spirit was also afraid, but she's not dark. She's not angry. Nothing in here is dark, malicious, or anything like that. Nothing's going to hurt you here. So the medium leaves, and armed with her tape recorder, coffee, and brandy, classic, Kim gets settled in her ghost room for the night. She's got like everything recorded and all that. And she's just like keeping her eyes peeled for any paranormal activity. Absolutely not gonna sleep there. And hours had gone by with nothing. That is until around the classic time.
3 a.m.
3 a.m. When once again, the room gets 10 degrees hotter and it is filled with that musty vanilla smell again. But this time the smell was way stronger. So strong that even her hair began smelling like the vanilla. What? That would give me a migraine so quickly.
No, immediate headache, yeah.
And if that was like hair wash day and I just washed my hair.
It's like your grandma's perfume.
I would be
But like
so
back
offended.
in 2000.
Right.
It was just so strong.
So
covering cigarettes.
Oh my God. The hollow smell of cigarettes beneath the 15 pumps of spray. That was, oh my God, so bad. She's like, fuck it, I'm leaving. Smart. just like me and you have done. She had gotten another room in the French Chateau sign as a backup.
And that is how you do it.
And that is how you do it. So she grabs her shit, she leaves that room, and she goes to sleep in her non-ghosty room in the new side of the hotel. So the next morning, Kim wakes up, gets dressed, and she got to go back to the ghost room to get her like tape recorder. I'm sure she like left some equipment in there, whatever. So she's passing by the front desk. The workers at the desk call her over and they're like, oh my God, bitch, what happened last night? Like something insane had to go down because so many guests have been reporting strange encounters from last night. She's like,
no, I was sleeping in the French Chateau.
Right. She was like at 3 a.m. Like it was just like the smell and the energy again. So like I just left because I needed to get some sleep. They tell her that they got reports of everything ranging from knocking on doors, seeing a woman appear and disappear in the middle of their room. One guest even reported a ghost appearing by the sink while they were showering.
Ew, no.
So obviously they jumped the hell out of the shower, which by the way, like it's been steamy, it's been hot in there, so like the mirror's fogged up and everything. They look at the mirror.
No, don't finish.
And written in the steam is a word, or rather a name. Kim.
I have chills.
But who is that older woman? Like, is that Isabel or who is it? Well, of course, it's Madam Nixon. And I say, of course, it's Madam Nixon because every source acted like I should know who Madam Nixon is.
Obviously, it's Madam Nixon.
I couldn't find anything about Madam Nixon. There's literally nothing about her.
Maybe she was like head of house, like not head of house, but like
she was just one of the random people that lived there between the Shaws and the typhoon that restored it. It's like nothing.
Okay, I was thinking maybe she was like in charge at that time, in charge of like the house, like maintaining the house, the ground, like
like
servants.
Me too. No,
that's just
she's
Madam
just
Nixon.
like a random
You
tenant.
dumb fucks.
That's like, okay, the fuck is? Sorry, Madam Nixon. I'm like, is she related
know
to
her fucking name?
Fucking President Nixon? That twat bag? Like, what is happening here? Like, okay, all right. So, of course, it's stupid
Madam
idiots,
Nixon.
Madam Nixon. So apparently, again, she was just like one of those randos that moved in there between the time of the Shaw family and her, whatever. But she moved there and lived there until her death. So she died in the castle. And allegedly, she was known for her signature scent, vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
And
Nixon was a little musty too.
They only ever smell the vanilla accompanied with the knocking. So some people think, no, it's not Isabella. Like Isabella's up in the ghost room, but like she doesn't come out into the halls. That is Madam Nixon. And she's just going around
because they
cleaning.
were smelling that scent in the ghost room.
Right. Which if she's being tormented by this older ghost who's like, you can't leave this room. Right. And she's going and like checking the rooms for Isabella. Maybe that's what it is. But I don't know. I like your theory better about the daughter. I really do.
Yeah.
And what if it's not Madam Nixon? What if it's literally Isabella?
Families fucking clashed back then.
Right. And also
imagine your daughter in
the
love with the
musty
boy.
vanilla. To me, that's almost giving like, what if Madam Nixon? Everyone thought that was her scent, but it was just because the house smelled like that.
Yeah.
Because of Isabella.
Could be.
Or Isabella's daughter.
Isabella's daughter.
So anyways, in addition to these two, several guests report being awoken by, quote, tiny hands pushing and pulling at them in their sleep.
Why do they have to be tiny?
Only for them to wake up and like search the room for their kids, being like, oh my God, did like one of our kids wake us up?
Oh my God, are we in
No
a small
one's
world?
in the room, right? But the faint sound of children laughing as if they're running out of the room is
Like
all that they
pranks.
can hear.
No, I don't fuck with kids like that.
I do
No
not fuck with kids like
ghosts.
that. And on nights of encounters like this, other guests in nearby rooms will actually report, like go call the front desk and be like, whoever's kids are running up and down the hallway, ding dong ditching people and like laughing and screaming while they're running away, need
Get
to
them
stop.
in check.
And it's like 5 doors down from the one who just like got woken up in the middle of the night by the tiny hands. That's crazy. And all in all, though, the spirits of Ballygally Castle and thus the new hotel version of it, are known for causing a ruckus, but they are in no way, shape, or form malicious, hateful, or dark, which is something that stands out to everyone, even the seasoned ghost hunters that go there. The most malicious thing that they will do or are known to do is they will kill any battery or device that you have, just drain it in seconds.
That actually does make you malevolent.
That is honestly like the worst thing you could do to me. because it really freaks me out. Or they will wake you up out of a sleep by knocking or putting their little tiny cold hands on you.
I hate that too.
So that's a win, I guess, compared to
For
everything else that could have happened. And next time you find yourself in Northern Ireland, take the time to stop at this amazing historical spot for a local haunt and a gorgeous dinner with a view, because the stunning dinner and garden. No, it's like called the Garden Restaurant. I've never seen something
when
so
I
beautiful in my
searched it,
life.
the first thing that came up is dining in Ireland.
Yeah,
there's an article.
It's like a really big restaurant apparently. So that's the case.
I loved it.
I loved it too. Ballygally.
You know, honestly, like people are like, oh, it's not that bad of a haunt. Those are actually all my worst nightmares.
No, like
so I don't
like okay, of course they're not demons.
A smell that's gonna give me a headache.
Right.
Tiny hands.
I had to smell
laughing
vanilla.
children all night long, knocking on doors, and my phone dying. Just consider me out.
We're done.
Actually, I would rather have Hat Man in the corner.
Me
than all
too.
That.
Honestly, no, we're joking. But
no, we are joking.
We're joking just a little bit.
I'm looking in the corner right now.
Yeah, actually, hey, we're joking. So I love that. I think the next time that we go, which the next time that I go and when I drag Morgan along with, we should go there.
I'm down. I want a Netherlands trip in April, and I want an Ireland trip.
Yeah.
And I think we've decided, because like the boys will be like, it's too expensive. Okay, problem solved. You don't go, and now it's 50% off.
Yeah.
Taylor and I go.
And guess what? It's a write-off. So
it's a write-off.
It's sure shit you don't come. Hey, did you see that Aer Lingus is running St. Patty's Day specials this week for like all-time low flights from Nashville straight to Dublin?
Yeah.
I was like, I'll book that. I'm looking at that.
I think I need it.
But before we move on, I need to go pee immediately. Okay, Morgie Poo, I'm ready for your big one.
Yay. So I am going to be covering the first condemned witch of Ireland.
Ooh.
Alice Kyteler.
Kyteler.
Right? Is that what I just heard? Kyteler. Yes. Yeah. It's definitely something different, not mythological, but definitely fucking chaotic. So, in order to understand how Alice ends up accused of witchcraft and many other things, we're going to have to go back to the late 1200s.
Like what?
In the medieval city of Kilkenny. Kilkenny at this time was one of the richest towns in Ireland. For generations, they were controlled by the Normans, who had turned this town into this thriving trade hub of a city. It was always bustling and popping with merchants and nobles and landowners, and pretty much anyone of name in the country of Ireland came through Kilkenny. It's located in southeast Ireland and still maintains all of its medieval glory today. And sitting on top of the city is the Kilkenny Castle, or more like the Kilkenny Fortress. Despite the wealth, medieval life was still medieval. And the church had an enormous amount of influence in everyone's life and the city's life. So as we know, in situations like this during this time period, if something weird happened, people were very quick to throw around the word witch. And it was into this world around the year 1280 that Alice Kyteler was born. Alice was born to a family of Flemish merchants who had settled in Kilkenny about 30 years before she was born. They were a pretty wealthy family. However, not much is known about them besides that they were well off based off of how Alice would marry. Her first marriage was to William Outlaw, who was another wealthy merchant in the city. It was pretty typical match at the time, two merchant families joining forces, combining their wealth, their social influence, and the two would end up having a son, also named William Outlaw. Some sources speculate that they also had a daughter, Rose, but that was never confirmed. Because William was a merchant, this meant that he was also a moneylender, which already made the family a little bit more controversial. Lending money for profit was something that the church had opinions about, but it made them extremely wealthy. And it's important to keep in mind, and I'm sure 800 years later, Taylor, you can even attest to this, that even though medieval women were limited legally with what they could do, growing up and marrying into a merchant family, Alice was able to learn a lot and was also likely striking deals that involved lending money, collecting debts, and managing multiple properties, even though she never worked in it a day in her life. Like, you could run your dad's business.
Literally, I don't even need my MLO degree or whatever
if you need
my certification. If I legally had to get it, I could.
Growing up around it, marrying into it, like that becomes your average day. You know,
like you just know. And you know the terminology of it. You know how to like sell it. You just know that life, because also it really does affect your entire family whenever it's like your family business that you're lending through.
Exactly.
Yep.
It was a part of her daily life since she can remember, which in the long run would put a target on on her back from the church. Because again, the church was like, that's not right. Like, that's pretty fucked up. You lending money
That's
for profit.
crazy,
also,
church.
can we get a church bell?
Hey, church, how are your taxes looking?
Because no woman had any business being involved with money operations, especially because her husband, William Outlaw, would die, leaving a lot of people to speculate that she continued on his business. In the 1300s, people were dying constantly. Like, anything could take anybody out. So at this point, no one was really raising eyebrows when her first husband passed away. Her son, also William Outlaw, was her chief business partner and declared an adult in 1303. He would also eventually become the sovereign or the mayor of Kilkenny.
Oh, wow.
So they were very influential.
They were the big dog family.
But to the city, Alice was simply a widow. Even though behind closed doors, her and her son were definitely running the family business. However, Alice didn't stay a widow for long. She went on to marry her second husband, Adam LeBlond, yet another money-lending merchant. And Adam
She knows what she likes.
and Alice were rich as fuck. In 1303, it was documented by William Outlaw, the son, that he was guardian of 3,000, I put euros here, but I don't think that's actually right, of their money, which, to put into perspective, a day's wage for an average person during this time for the entire day of work was 1 to 1.5 cents.
Is it a damn shilling?
A shilling, yeah.
We will never get over that. I would never get over
they
the
had
shilling.
3,000 that he just put away.
Yeah.
That would take 300 years for someone to make.
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy.
That's a lot of money. So obviously they were well off. However, within 5 years, Adam quitclaimed his business to his stepson, William Outlaw, meaning that he handed over all of his business, his goods, his jewels, and any debt that was owed to him to William. We don't know why, but I'm sure Alice had something to do with this. Now, Adam LeBlond had children of his own. So seeing this woman come into his life, making him richer, then quickly selling almost all valuables to her son, their stepbrother, would definitely piss these kids off.
Yeah.
And this for Adam, and back in the day, this quitclaim was basically the equivalent of retirement. But so, you know, you sell everything that you own to he sold his entire business, anyone that owes him money, to his stepson, who also was in the same business, and anything that they owned to get some money. And then he was done. He was done with the work.
Yeah, he basically just sold this company.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But his kids, Alice's stepkids, that pissed them off.
Yeah, but you don't know how to run the fucking business.
You don't know how to run the fucking business. But why did you give everything? Why did you make her kid richer in the long run? Is their thought process.
Well, I guess like, not to play devil's advocate here for these, I'm assuming that these kids are pieces of shit, like spoiled rotten, because like, why would anybody ever do that? But like, the only thing I could think is his debt was so high that it was like a wager. It's kind of like people that own like finance companies, you know?
Yeah.
And like
I'm with
modern
you.
day finance companies. Because now you just can't like be
it was his
personal
way
lenders.
of staying prosperous, right? Like,
Yeah.
he would have, and
Yeah.
he had a risk of losing everything. And this was his way of trying to maintain
Yeah, so then when you
something.
merge these two client bases together and like the debt versus the like income ratio of this company, by merging the two in under the ownership of the son who does it for a living,
Right.
getting rid of all of your inheritance for your kids sucks.
That
But it's
definitely
like,
sucks.
Like, I don't know how to feel about that. But
And that retirement didn't actually last long for Adam, because Adam also dies.
oh,
Again, the death wasn't unusual, but what was unusual was what happened after. With each death, Alice was inheriting property, money, and all assets. So now the stepkids are really fucking pissed off.
really tone up.
But this was able to happen due to some legal rights that widows in higher social classes sometimes held at this time. And for Alice, she did. And for the time being, Alice surprisingly had a lot of rights and a large amount of control over Adam's assets. Meaning every single time one of her husbands passed away, Alice became richer. After Adam's death, she married again. Her third husband, Richard DeVal. Richard was yet again another wealthy landowner with property and connections. And if you're sensing a pattern here, you're not alone, because Richard then dies.
Ooh.
Now at this point, people were starting to notice something. 3 wealthy husbands that had married Alice, and 3 wealthy husbands had died. And each time, Alice walked away with more property and more financial power. The ones really tuning an eye into this game that Alice may or may not have been playing were Adam's children,
Yeah, the spoiled,
Alice's
rotten brats.
stepchildren, the spoiled rotten brats. I didn't get anything.
Like, I don't know why. I think these kids are actually bad.
I just get a bad vibe from them.
I'm like, immediately, I'm pissed, but like, she is up to something.
Yep. A woman who controlled wealth and property and business dealings was not exactly what society expected, and especially not the church. But Alice, even though a lot of eyes were on her beyond the stepchildren, she wasn't done marrying. Her fourth husband was John Lepore, a member of the powerful Anglo-Irish noble family. This marriage was actually a huge step up socially for Alice, meaning they were now on a pedestal. The spotlight is shining on them, and all eyes were looking at this marriage. And this is where things started to go wrong. According to records, a few years after the marriage of Alice and John, John started showing signs of illness. His hair and his nails were falling out, and he was very, very weak.
His nails were falling out?
Yep. While sick, he changed his will to the benefit of Alice and her son, William. Now, after this, it is alleged that it was John himself who became suspicious of his sickness, telling his family that Alice was poisoning him.
I'm so suspicious about my illness that I'm going to change my will, and then I'm going to bring it
According
up.
to his family, he told them that.
Okay.
However, this won't hold up because it was actually John's right-hand man that would defend these claims about Alice later on. And John would actually live many years after this sickness that had his nails and hands falling out. And
His
maybe,
hands?
or his nails and hair.
I'm like, holy shit. His
hands are falling
like
out.
SpongeBob, like where they just fall up and regrow.
Yep. However, the wealth that Alice had managed to accumulate at the expense of these men's families really pissed them off because he would eventually end up dying. But it was years after he had this illness that knocked him out. It's believed that John did also have children himself, and between his kids and the other evil stepchildren, enough was enough. Instead of keeping the accusations inside the family, they took the matter to the church, which in medieval Ireland was basically the nuclear fucking option.
Oh my God. You just took him to the, what's it called? Not Voldemort, not
The Valkyrie, or I'm thinking of Twilight.
That's what I was trying to say.
The Volturi?
Yeah.
Or whatever they're called? Exactly.
Yes.
Once the church got involved, it was game fucking over. The accusations were told to Richard de Ledred, who was the bishop overseeing the region of Kilkenny. Now, you would expect these to be murder charges, but they knew what they were doing and they went a different route. They accused her of witchcraft, which at the time was one of the most serious charges a person could face, because it wasn't just a crime, it was heresy. And the thing about Bishop Ledred is that he was new to the region, and Alice, being the first from the very first sentence of this segment, means that he had never caught a witch before. He was new to the region, and he was known for being extremely fucking strict. When these accusations landed on his desk, he went full force towards Alice. And once he did, and this went a little public, the town started fucking talking. All of a sudden, there were tons of witnesses coming forward, rumors circulating through Kilkenny. And as this investigation continued, the list of accusations being gathered against her would become so bizarre that would eventually make this case the first documented witchcraft trial in Irish history. And some of these things people claim she was doing was fucking wild. They brought 7 charges against Alice and her associates, her son and her friends. These charges were: 1, they were denying Christ in the church. 2, they cut up living animals and scattered the pieces at crossroads as offerings to a demon called the Son of Art in return for his help.
They're just trying to learn how to play the guitar good.
Yeah, like, sorry, that went down to Georgia.
Crossroads. Yeah, I don't know.
They stole the keys of the church and they held meetings and rituals there at night. Really? Like the bishop wouldn't have known that?
We stole the keys to the church?
Yeah, I saw them sneaking into your church.
Why are the doors to the
I saw
church
them
shut?
sneaking into your church with intestines of chicken.
Why is your doors locked anyways? I thought this is the house of the Lord.
Right, literally. They placed the intestines of a chicken in the skeleton of a robber that they just happened to dig up out of a grave, as well as worms and nails that they would cut from dead bodies. And then they would also steal the hairs and the clothes from young boys who had died before being baptized. And then they would use this potion with all of these ingredients to incite people to love, hate, kill, and afflict Christians.
Okay. That's the craziest
potion
wild
you've ever
shit
heard?
I've ever heard in my life.
That's only 4 charges. I have 3 more.
And it's like, who the fuck is making this up right now?
Oh,
it's like they asked the little liar
all of a sudden,
kid.
like she's been married, widowed, widowed, and then finally some stepkids get some pissed off, and they go to this bishop who clearly wants a witch trial.
Yeah, who
like
wants a witch
everyone
hunt.
out. Like they didn't say where he was from, but some sources did say he was from like England area, which that was popular then, and Ireland didn't have that yet.
Yeah.
So they thought that he could potentially be wanting to bring that here, a witch trial, and so he was on a witch hunt, literally.
He just wanted it
Power hungry
to happen.
It was new.
So, I mean, it's like they were like,
it's not going to go good for
who's
this guy.
the number one drunken liar in this town? Let's go talk to him and see what he has to say about Alice. And he's like, and then it goes to dig up a robber.
And they went to the grave and they got the guy that robbed the brewery down the street and stole
took
my
the
Guinness.
keys to the church and then went inside the church and took the worms from under the nails. It's like,
and they stole the clothes off that boy who wasn't baptized.
and the person who's writing this for the formal statement is like,
always.
I know, it's like, wait, that's not even where we're from. But the person who's writing this formal statement for the trial is like, okay, wait, can you pause?
The bishop
for a second?
actually is probably like, yes,
tell me more. Tell me more. But like, could you imagine having to be the scribe writing this shit down?
He
like,
was eating this up.
What am I writing down right now?
The 5th charge was that Alice had a demon as an incubus who she would invite back. She had a relationship with this incubus.
Okay.
And he would appear to her as a cat or a shaggy black dog or sometimes 3 men holding a stick.
So the 3 wise men from the Bible? Wait.
Yeah.
Hey, wait, guys, hold on one second.
Wait,
I think we took it too far.
Is this Mary, actually?
Wait, we were with you with the black dog and the black cat, like the familiar and all the things.
3 guys with the stick.
But the 3 wise men?
Yeah.
Like the guys who showed up at the barn where Jesus was born?
In 6, Alice was using sorcery to murder her first 3 husbands, and that John Lepore was poisoned, as his symptoms of that illness were consistent with arsenic poisoning. However, when they started talking and John started asking Alice, she stopped poisoning him and he got better, which is why he lived for so long.
I mean, I feel like if he's questioning it, I'm going to double down.
Yeah.
I'm tripling your doses.
Yeah,
now.
I'm not going to stop.
Yeah, you're dying.
But
for
again,
sure.
this was the guy that was like almost royalty. So like
Yeah,
a
but,
lot
like,
of eyes were on him.
What's so wild though is that like he allegedly brought this up only again after the will was changed on his accord.
Right.
Because
to her and William.
Yes. It's like, to you and your son, hey, I know we just signed this formal documentation, but like, do you have any poisoning?
Yeah. Do you have mercury in there?
Yeah. No. Like, that's crazy.
According to Bishop Ledred, I keep saying Ledred, so I think that's what it is. Investigation, Alice wasn't acting alone. They claim that she had an entire group of followers helping her carry out these rituals. She's now a cult leader.
She's a cult leader.
Servants, associates, people living in her household were supposedly participating in these ritual ceremonies that she was having. One of these people would become very important to the case. And this was a woman named Petronella de Meath.
Wow, that's a cool name.
Yeah. Petronella was Alice's servant. She lived and worked inside Alice's household, helping manage the home and the daily responsibilities. So to the church and to the bishop, Petronella was either a witness or she was a participant. And unfortunately for her, she was also in a much more vulnerable position than Alice because Alice was wealthy, she was powerful, and she was connected to major families in Kilkenny and even Dublin. And Petronella was a servant, meaning she didn't have that same protection. During the investigation, Petronella was arrested and interrogated. And medieval interrogations were not really gentle conversations over tea with a lady. They were obtained through pressure, intimidation, sometimes even torture. Eventually, Petronella confessed, and she claimed that Alice had taught her witchcraft. According to the confession that was recorded by Bishop Ledred, Petronella said that Alice led a group that rejected Christianity and secretly worshiped demons. She described rituals where mixtures were made from strange ingredients, things like herbs, powders, and the blood of sacrificed animals.
Oh my God.
And then the accusation somehow got even stranger. Petronella claimed that Alice would collect bizarre items to create her magical potions. And one accusation even claimed that she made mixtures from things like the brains of animals.
Oh my God.
But the confessions didn't stop. Petronella also repeated the story about the demon lover. She said that yes, Alice had a relationship with the demon Robin Artisan and that he would appear to her during the rituals.
What a formal name for a demon.
She was then forced to watch Alex have sex with this incubus. And then after they were done, she was forced to clean the same room afterwards with her hands and whatever, they had a cloth. Because of this, the investigation led to a search of Alice's home, where they found the only piece of physical evidence that they could use and bring to court, a pipe of ointment. When they asked Petronella what this was used for, it said that she used this pipe of ointment to fly. This was a dildo. Historians believe that this was a dildo and possibly the first dildo ever recorded.
Was it wooden?
I have no idea.
I think the first dildos were wooden.
I mean, they say a pipe of ointment. I'm assuming because metal wasn't.
Yeah. I mean, I could have been. It could have been.
A stone?
Oh, God. The stone would be too absorbent. So would wood, though. Okay, wait, we have to keep talking. We have to keep moving on. I'm hurting.
So the dildo and a witch.
And that's what she flies on.
And that's what she would fly on. Fly. Orgasm.
Fly.
According to the accusations, this demon supposedly helped Alice gain wealth and power, which if you were Bishop Ledred trying to prove that witches were operating in Ireland, this was exactly the kind of confession you were looking for.
A dildo.
A dildo. Proof. Meanwhile, while all of this was happening, the church was trying to arrest Alice herself. But there was one major problem here. Alice wasn't there anymore.
Oh, she flew away on her dildo.
She flew away on her dildo. Because the Chancellor of Ireland was her former brother-in-law, Roger Outlaw, who helped organize her escape. He also told the bishop numerous times during the investigation that he needs to drop the charges. No,
yeah.
That's enough. That's my sister.
AKA, that's my ex-sister-in-law who allegedly killed my brother.
It. That's my son's mother or my nephew's mother.
You
drop
shut the fuck
charges.
up.
But the bishop refused. And so Roger refused to execute a warrant until a public prosecution was held and 40 days had passed. When the bishop summoned Alice, she had actually fled with Roger's help to Dublin. The bishop followed the legal proceedings laid down by the chancellor, Roger, the brother-in-law, to the very last detail. And after 40 days had passed, he attempted to excommunicate Alice from Dublin back to Kilkenny, even though she was not present and or answering anything that he was doing.
Well, like, what are you going to do? Send a pigeon to come find me?
Yep. He then cited William Outlaw, the son, a day that he needed to come and appear before the bishop in court. He was charged not only with heresy, but also with harboring and protecting heretics. But William, the son, had another powerful friend in Kilkenny, the Seneschal Arnold Lepore. Same relation to the last husband, by the way, John Lepore.
Oh, yeah.
The Seneschal, I'm saying that wrong, I know that, was the representative of the Lord of Liberty and therefore its chief judge and official.
Oh my God. Like, you're really barking up the wrong tree, Bishop.
So the chief judge is now like, yeah, okay, so you're actually not going to arrest William. Like,
Yeah,
that's my friend.
So funny, but that's my boy. Like, no.
So here's the deal, Bishop. You're arrested and you're going to jail.
And give her dildo back.
Kilkenny then arrests the bishop and imprisons him at Kilkenny Castle for 17 days.
Oh my God.
Until the day that was appointed for William to appear in the bishop's court had passed. This was a very dangerous move, as laying hands on a monk or cleric was forbidden.
Yeah.
This is, guys, you don't, insane to arrest a bishop.
They were playing petty fucking shit.
Like, they were powerful as fuck.
That's exactly.
And they were protecting out. They loved Alice.
Like what? A girl's not allowed to ride a dildo every now and again?
She's not allowed to fly
make a little
on
cash?
A little bit. Make a little cash. Like, that girl, I owe her money. She can't. Yeah, no, actually, probably not, because then they'd be like, yeah, hang her.
Yeah, no, exactly. But I'm sure they got like a little skim off the top.
I'm sure they've got a lot over everyone's head.
Yeah.
Alice and her son do.
And I'm sure they get all the tea through Alice and her son.
Here's what's funny. So let's say she did poison all of her husbands. We don't know. Let's just say it's interesting that I don't know what the chief judge's relationship to Paul, the last husband, but they are of relation. They are the same family. And then you have Roger. Like, could she be you know, like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm not killing your brother. I know you didn't really like him. You got 8 others anyway.
Right.
I'll give you 10,000.
But side
Shillings.
note, okay, let's say that it's not even that. No one was living that long back then. So, like, for someone to die, it's just really not that big of a deal. Like,
Right.
it's not all that crazy. And I'm look, guys, I am really hell-bent. I just feel it in my bones that those kids, those ratty ass spoiled brats, like, did not deserve it. Like, that's what he wanted. He wanted them gone, and like, he wanted the business to not have to worry about it because they were all fighting.
He was alive and fine when he gave everything to William.
And you know what? Honestly, I think
like what you wanted to. Oh, it's like
I
when
think
you
the kids
give
killed him.
when you give the candy away, and then
Yes.
they're like, "But I wanted that," and they've never eaten chocolate in a day in their life.
And they're like, I've never even. They didn't even have an interest in working. They didn't want to do anything. They just wanted his money. I feel like they killed him.
Yeah,
Sorry.
exactly. Okay, so in the story, the bishop is in jail, which is fucking crazy.
That's crazy.
So while in prison, the bishop places his diocese under interdict, is what it's called, meaning there's no baptism, no marriages, and no burials that could take place in Kilkenny until this interdict had been lifted, meaning he was released. After the bishop was released, he then tried to charge Alice and her son again with the crime of heresy.
Oh my God,
and
drop
this
it.
time with the full backing of the church. However, Alice was gone again.
Yeah, duh.
She knew that the public opinion was against her at this point because they touched the bishop. And after an attack on the church, this was not going to be tolerated lightly. So she fled, never to be seen again. It's believed that she went to England, but to this day, there's no record of her going anywhere. Like, truly, she just disappeared into the night.
Yeah, she's changed
Like,
her name.
she's like, there's nothing
She
about
became
her.
a witch.
However, her son was now formally accused of heresy and harboring a heretic. So he was in prison in the Kilkenny castle.
She didn't take him?
No, she didn't take him. He, like we know, had influence and good friends, so his sentence was reduced. He knew the chief judge. The chief judge put the bishop in the fucking prison.
They were like, yeah, fine. And
oh my
then he's
God,
out.
William, just go to the fucking prison.
Just act like you're going to prison, dude.
Like, I don't know what to tell
I'll
you.
literally come pick you up and you can stay at my house.
And this was his sentencing. He had to hear 3 masses every day for a year, and he had to give food to the poor.
Wow. I mean,
However, and this is a sad part, the same couldn't be said for Petronilla. Like, at the Petronilla.
I forgot about her.
Because, she did say all that stuff about Alice, but let's remember that she was being held and she was being tortured. Like, so she was just giving in to stop. She was condemned for sorcery, offering sacrifice to demons, and she was sentenced to death. She was whipped 6 times and then burned at the stake.
Guys, what?
She literally wasn't even involved. She was literally just a servant.
And literally you beat her into saying that she was found a dildo and she was
basically took the heat on all charges of Alice.
Which is crazy.
What they did, because Alice was nowhere to be found. So the church
they just
punished
took it out
her.
on her.
An innocent woman, yeah.
Wow, that's really fucked.
That really pisses me off too.
Church,
we'll
count
get
your
back at
fucking
them
days.
because William, on the other hand, word gets to the bishop that he's not partaking in a sentence at all. He's not going to mass.
I'm not going to
3
mass.
times a day.
I'm not
He is
feeding the
not
poor.
feeding the poor. So he was imprisoned by the bishop yet again. And after a year of imprisonment, he fully succumbed to his sentencing, and he invited the bishop to the prison for a visit, where he allegedly prostrated himself in the mud in front of the bishop.
What?
And the bishop then demanded that, like, okay, that's good. Thank you for doing that. Like, you will not procreate because you guys are demons.
Wait. What did he do?
So he was in prison for a year, and he invites the bishop to come because he's like, I'm done being in prison. Like,
yeah.
And he cuts his dick off. He prostrates himself.
Oh, castrates
Castrates himself.
I was like,
Yeah.
what?
Yes.
He chops his dick
Well, no,
off.
I have prostrate, so I thought that meant castrate. No, what does prostrate even mean then?
I've never even heard
In
that
my
word.
head, I thought
but
that
like
it was...
prostate.
That's what I was thinking, like cut your balls off. I
Like-
thought the story was going crazy. I thought the man castrated himself. I'm looking it up.
Yeah, what does prostate mean?
Oh, okay. This is what it means. He laid flat on the ground, face down, as a physical gesture of deep humiliation, worship, submission, or extreme exhaustion.
Oh, I was like, he cut his dick off.
I thought he cut his dick off too. Honestly, I thought that's what prostrate meant.
I thought it was.
I didn't even think I needed to look it up. I'm like, he's cut his dick off in the mud.
I thought it was okay. Castrates, you're cutting your dick off. Prostrate means that you're cutting your balls off. Like,
that's where my mind was
that's what prostate cancer
and I
is.
was like, and his mom literally had a wooden dildo. So
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, you can't procreate, prostrate. Okay, so new vocab unlocked. So he humiliated himself, laid down in the mud, and the bishop was like, yes,
thank you,
eating it up, right? And he demands him, like, okay, yeah, you can get out of jail. Here's what you have to do. You have to take a visit to the Holy Land on the first available boat. When you come back, you then need to redo the church roof, and you'll have 4 years to do this.
Do free labor?
Free labor. And so William's like, okay, I will. So he goes to the Holy Land. He comes back and he has to build this church, which he does, but he builds it with lead. So shortly after completing it, the roof of St. Kenneth caved in because it was too heavy.
And everyone, including him, got fucking lead poisoning. Well, that's what happens when you ask someone who's not a roofer to do your roof.
Yeah,
you know,
like, I'm a finance
he's
bro.
like, dude, I'm literally a mortgage lender.
Like, I can't do.
I'm a loan officer.
So today in Kilkenny, you can go to the Kyteler Inn, where they celebrate its founder Alice through a witch statue and her story posted on the walls.
And I hope they give out complimentary dildos.
I hope they do,
everyone
too.
who comes. I love Alice.
Ointment to fly, baby. I don't think she was.
I cannot believe she abandoned her son.
I can't.
It's not very like boy mom.
I mean,
her.
what if it was the son doing it the entire time?
But like, honestly though, like, I don't know. She's not very boy mom of her. Like,
No,
she's giving toxic, like,
see, I think
boy
what she's
mom.
giving is like boy crazy mom. Like, I love
Yeah,
all my
she loves
husbands
the
and I love
boys.
money.
Yeah, she loves sex.
And like, I'll get him rich.
yeah.
And then
And he'll just like do all my finances.
Like, okay, let's be real though. Like, she
What if he
knew that
killed
like,
her?
she would be burned at the stake, but like he would be fine.
he's literally just gonna have to go do the roof.
He literally had to go to church 3 times a day for 1 year.
She was gonna be burned
and then
and flogged and
feed to the
hanged.
poor. One time?
No. Damn, loved it.
No, it's crazy.
I mean,
He's like,
she's
I'm gonna press
truly
charges.
iconic.
She's like, okay, well, my brother-in-law actually says no.
Okay, do you want me to do one more?
Sure. You want me to do one more?
No.
Okay.
I think
What's our time?
you're good off.
Well, we have 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's what
off.
and I think this will fill in. This will be less than 20 minutes. So I'm gonna quickly do, because I've had this one on the fucking list for like 3 years. I'm doing Biddy early right now, and we're getting done. I think you will personally really love her.
Okay, I love her
because she's like really iconic. So this is the magical lady of County Clare.
County what?
County Clare.
Witch.
Yeah, witch.
She's a
Actually,
fucking
yeah,
witch.
she is a witch.
Oh, see, I told you. I'm really
Well,
good
she's
at
being accused of a witch.
my witch radar is
Yeah,
really off
witch
the
radars.
charts.
I mean, why do you think that I was talking about all the witches? Okay, so
I was talking about a witch.
I know.
Witch.
I'm like, well, this would be a perfect segue. We should move into Biddy. So, Bridget Ellen, or Biddy Early, was born likely in the year 1798 in County Clare, Ireland, to a poor farmer named John Thomas Connors and his wife, herbalist Ellen Early Connors. Now, according to her,
I bet she made some good fucking
she would
shit.
literally
Good potions.
You're gonna scream when I tell you about this family.
You got a
Morgan.
cut? Healed in a day.
That's how this family was, and they were so good. All right, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, so according to her baptism records, her name at baptism and birth was Bridget Ellen Connors, but she would later change it to honor her mother and go by her mother's maiden name Early, even though she loved her father.
I'm really confused. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah,
Why did we have the witch trials in 1300s and then again in the 1600s?
and we had them again every year since.
Like, I'm actually confused. Like, we just hate women?
Yeah,
Is that
no,
it?
it was literally a way to prosecute women for no reason. Like,
That's why
in
men's dicks get shorter.
Yeah, no,
as the generations go by.
exactly. Shut up. So she would go by her mother's maiden name Early. As a child growing up in poverty, she would wear clothes that her mother would hand make by weaving flax fibers that were found in a nearby farm near the family's home that she would trade for. But she and her long Biddy and her long bright
the name Biddy.
red hair. Well, it actually means like an old hag.
I don't even care. hair.
Yeah, and I love it. I think
We
it's
use
cute.
it to describe cute tits.
Yes. Itty titty bitty, but it's
Itty bitty titty committee.
Biddy, not
Yeah,
TT.
but she's a biddy.
But Biddy. She's a baddie. Baddie Biddy.
Baddie Biddy.
Period.
Bitty baddie.
So she had this like long, beautiful, bright red hair. She looked stunning in anything that she wore. So like it didn't matter if she was in this like homemade flax fucking weaved shit. Like she just looked stunning and everything and was always so mesmerizing to people. From an early age, Biddy Early was very, very witty and really good with her humor and was gifted with natural intelligence, like outside of just common sense. Like she was able to take in knowledge and it would like solidify in her brain. AKA, you have to tell me something 953,000 times, especially if it's something useful.
Right.
If it's not useful, it's locked and loaded.
Yeah.
If it's something that's useful and I have to have it for like everyday life, that's not common sense. Sorry. Like fractions, can't. Like
Please.
Logan actually got so upset at me the other day.
Please.
I got those on lock. I got those in the yours on lock. But Logan the other day was like, you know, like 2/3 of something. And I was like, I'm sorry, I don't know what that means. And he was like, you know, like 2/3, like that'd be about like 2/3. And I was like,
See, I'm actually pretty good at that. It's the
see,
English
you're good at the
language.
number. I'm good at the English. It's the
Honestly,
numbers.
it's 222 that gets me, but I get it when I like think about it. But if I don't think about it, they're all TO, every single one.
Oh, I thought you were saying numbers again, like two is the angel number.
222.
Yeah, no.
Obviously, TWO is 2. TOO is
In addition to like,
multiples,
yeah.
and TO is placement.
Yeah.
But when I get that,
Yeah.
and I get all the other ones, but when I'm texting, no, they don't exist.
Well, and when it's just flying out, no. But like, I genuinely can't do math without a calculator, and I don't need to. So like, thank God, right? Amen.
Right. Thank God it's 2026.
And that's why.
Which, if you can do math without a calculator, you're a fucking witch.
You're a fucking witch. I mean, that's what I said to Logan. Logan was like, Taylor, you actually like need to learn fractions. Like that's not good. Like, how are you going to teach her? That's not my job. You're going to teach our kids. Like
Right, exactly.
That,
Do I look like? Do I look like the teacher role?
I'm sorry. And like, honestly, he said like, why didn't you want to learn that? And I was like, because literally I knew that with technology, like the way that things were changing, I knew that there was a lie that they said I wouldn't be able to have a calculator.
Calculator that costs $400 fucking dollars.
They would be like, hey, you never.
Have you ever did x equals
Have you ever did
y squared?
But if I did, it's like in something.
You ever
that,
needed the square root of something?
and like if I did, it's on my phone that it's in my
Have you
computer that I
ever
carry
in
around in
real
my
life
pocket.
needed the square root of something.
No, and like
The square root of 69
and like
8 something.
again, my point is that like literally they would threaten us and be like, you will never be able to have another calculator a day in your life. So like you don't even need to
Like
have a
really, because it's on everything.
I'm like, that's crazy. My whole life revolves around these phones now.
There's literally glasses now where you can do it with your mind.
You could text.
Okay,
what was
well,
that
with
thing
your
that you
finger.
do? What was that thing that you would text that we would text
Cha-cha?
when we were cha-cha? And you could like do. We had cha-cha back then. Now we have AI.
I love cha-cha.
Yeah, like you gave me.
I asked a lot of questions since Google wasn't
Mine
there.
was what's
It's
1/4
probably
of
someone on
this?
Epstein Island responding back to my
Exactly.
sexual
No, actually, now
questions.
knowing that, like,
I'm
who was
definitely
in
on the
charge of that? Yeah, who probably owned that? I don't know. Who looked? No, we don't have time.
Okay.
Stop. I have to finish this. We don't have much time left before we run out. Okay. As a child, she was like I said, she was very witty. She had this like natural intelligence in addition to just common sense. Yet she did not ever learn to read or write. And her friends and family said that she would speak Irish with them, but somehow, though, like no one knows how she learned, she could speak English with others. Because obviously, like at this point in time, like you would speak the native language. However, even as a child, Biddy Early spent most of her time alone. So they were like, where the hell did she learn English? Like, I know she learned Irish because that's all that we
Fates and
speak.
fairies.
And they would say, oh, she's just one with the fairies. She's always off talking to the fairies, because she would go off into the
So good at
forest
this
for
game.
days by herself. That's like today an insult. Be like, oh, they're off with the fairies. It means like you've lost your damn mind. However, Ellen, her mother, was highly regarded and well known for her magical herbal cures. This is a talent and craft that she would pass down to her daughter as it had been passed down to her. So that's why she kept the early family name. Biddy did, because all of the early women were herbalists and like highly regarded the best recipes
that's
in
a
the
doctor
area.
then.
Yeah,
Like,
that is literally, well, they had doctors, which I'm going to get into here in a second, but like this is what people could afford.
they're the pharmacists.
Yes, they were quite literally the pharmacists.
They're Walgreens and Rite Aid.
Exactly. Biddy Early soaked in every single one of her mother's tips, tricks, talents, and recipes, which allowed her to take over the family business and household at just 16 when her mother would sadly pass away from malnutrition.
Damn.
And tragically, just 6 months later, her father would die of typhoid fever. No, typhus fever. Typhus fever. Is that the same as typhoid?
Surely.
Sounds like kind of similar. Leaving Biddy at just 16 years old, unable to pay rent and forced to leave her childhood home, the only thing that she had left. At which point she entered a workhouse, which is essentially like a prison where you would have a place to sleep, you would have food to eat, but at the cost of horrible conditions and extremely hard labor. All the while, she continued to hone her natural herbal medicine skills and her healing skills that had been passed down to her by her mother, not only in the form of like teaching recipes, but what was embedded in her soul. By the time Biddy was 18, she began working for a landlord in Limerick, a town that had just never understood and never could accept her for who she really was, with locals often making fun of her and treating her poorly due to her, quote, aloof behavior, and saying like, you're weird because you always run off into the forest alone looking for herbs and like talking to fairies and shit, using it in like a bad way. Whereas like the town she grew up in was like, she's just off with the fairies learning her skills like her mother, like her whole family and bloodline has. Whereas here it was like very much looked down upon. So to get away, Biddy Early would go walk to like this long ass walk to this nearby town for market days, and there she would like collect herbs and things that she needed that she just couldn't find on her own for her recipes, and escape that constant taunting, because when she was at the market she was with people who were free-minded and healers like her. And it was on one of these outings that she would meet her first husband, Pat Malley of, I'm so sorry, I was supposed to look up this, but it looks like fecal. Yeah, it's Feakle. It's this like little fecal. Yeah, it's his town. Okay. Pat was twice her age. He also already had a son named John who was like close in age to Biddy, and she had no dowry. Despite that though, the two were madly in love and they got married, and Biddy would actually give birth to her first and only child, a son that she named Paddy, Paddy. Pat, Biddy, John, and Paddy lived in a 3-room cottage in Fecal, I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong, where like her mother, Biddy became the most trusted and sought after herbalist in the area. Her cures got the reputation, just as her mother's, as being the best around. And I just want to note that this town was truly like the best place for someone like Biddy to live.
Imagine
ever.
the like recipe book, like
Yes.
your notebooks, but times 5,000
5 billion, and they're like massive and like,
just like
bound
writing everywhere.
Oh my God. I bet they were
Pictures.
beautiful and had sketches on them and like flowers pressed
Yep.
in them and all the things. So this town, it was like a very close knit and superstitious place, somewhere that was not only accepting, but like obsessed with and well loved and loved Biddy and valued her for not only being the traditional Irish herbalist that she was, but also being the bonfassa or seer or wise woman that she was. Sometimes known as a fairy doctor who can heal both things in the physical world and things that are otherworldly. Cool. So in addition to healing with herbs, she could lift curses using charms, and we will get more into her practice literally in 2 seconds. But unlike other herbalists and bonfassas, Biddy never requested money in exchange for her services. She felt like it just was against, and neither did any woman in her family, in her bloodline. Like this was a gift that was given to her from God, and because of that, she had to like do it in purity. Instead, she would just be like, if you have something to give, like if you want to compensate me, if this works for you and you want to compensate me, then you can in whatever way that you have. So some people would give them food, and like if they had like a farm, they would bring eggs. That's how her mom got that flax to make the clothes for her, was trade. And they would give her, most commonly actually, was whiskey and
Period.
I like couldn't find a pronunciation for this, but it's an alcohol that is known as Irish moonshine or Irish Mountain Dew.
You know that shit was off the rocker.
Well, you can still get it today, and I'm sure if I put it in my mouth, any bad bacteria and any good bacteria is gone like in 2 seconds. But this made Biddy and Pat's house a town favorite because they had so much alcohol in there. So people would come and drink, and they wouldn't charge, and they would hang out, and they would play card games. It's like people loved coming over to their house. Basically, when people couldn't afford to see a doctor or were not getting the help or relief that they needed from priests or doctors, they would turn to Bonfosas, but specifically Biddy. She was able to see people for who they truly were with her intuition and her spiritual gifts. She would actually listen to people, and then she would work to address and cure their needs from the root cause. Every single morning, she would get up before the sun, go out and gather herbs and plants as they were coated in the morning dew. This was a key piece of her healing practice for her family, but for all Bonfosas, as morning dew was seen as the secretion of the morning light, which was a healing property, which I have always agreed with. Like, I feel like there's something sacred about dew in the morning. So what is that?
Yeah, what's that all about?
What is that all about?
See, I hate dew.
I did too when I was younger. Like have to walk through to like go get the mail.
The
like
worst
go walk to
is
school.
You just mowed the grass yesterday.
Oh my god! And you got clippings stuck all over you.
All over you.
But there's like some mornings where I've gone outside and like stood in the grass because like I needed to ground myself or something. Like I had a bad dream, and if the dew's out, I swear it like ups the ante 100%. It's really crazy. So anyways, this was a key piece of her practice and Bonfos's practice. This was especially helpful for like her services was especially helpful for farmers.
Helpfuler for
Jesus
farmers.
Christ. I'm kind of turning Irish here. Helpfuler, which she understood better than anyone, being the daughter of a poor farmer and a Bonfosa her entire life. Like at this point in time, having just one single crop die, because mind you guys, this is right before the famine. Okay,
like the potato famine.
Yes, like, and was it even a famine or was it actually like genocide? So, anyways, so this was like, think about this time frame that we're talking about at this point. So basically, having one single crop die or one animal die could mean failure of the farm, eviction, poverty, and even like humans' loss of life, death.
It's crazy.
Yes. So these farmers would ask for Biddy's help to heal animals, restore spring wells, or even things like upping milk, egg, and butter production. She was even known for being one of the few people who could swiftly resolve and mediate land disputes, ancient land disputes between landowners, current day landowners, and fairies.
Damn,
and fae. And though by lifting curses or intuitively seeing in her mind's eye the problem, she was successful in fixing situations or dilemmas like I had just listed off for you, she was actually best known for her herbal cures, like her mother, and healing recipes for both physical and spiritual / divine needs. Eventually, she found a way to speed up her process by creating this elixir in a blue bottle, blue or black bottle, depending on the reporting that you see, that went everywhere with her and became almost, if not even more famous than she was or is. No one knew where this bottle came from, as it just seemed to show up one day, but all agreed that it was likely given to her by the fairies. Inside was this dark, thick liquid that she would look down into when considering possible cures, and it would help her decide the best course of action to cure whatever problem. And it was
Whoa.
Pretty much 99.99% right.
That's crazy.
But alongside all of these amazing qualities and talents, Biddy was a force to be reckoned with. Her strong personality, starch independence, glowing self-confidence, and her outspoken refusal to be browbeaten by anyone into dimming her light or hiding her gifts was one of the most attractive qualities about her. Unfortunately, Biddy would be widowed at the ripe age of 25 when Pat passed away. Shortly thereafter, however, she would marry her second husband, John Malley.
All of what you told me, you mean to tell me she's still only 25?
Well, I was telling you her practice.
Okay.
So we're getting back into the timeline.
I was like, damn.
Because I put it there because I was like, okay, if you don't know what she is exactly doing, none of this is going to make sense to you. So I just kind of did it in the in-between whenever I started talking about the trade. I know. No. Unfortunately, Biddy would be widowed at the ripe age of 25 when her husband, Pat, passed away. And shortly thereafter, however, she would marry her second husband, John Malley. Do you recognize that name?
O'Malley?
No, John Malley, Pat's son, aka her stepson, who was her age.
Wait. Patty?
No, that's her son. So when her and Pat got married, Pat was twice her age. So he was like in his 40s. And
she married her stepbrother?
Her stepson, John, his son from his previous marriage, was her age and lived with them.
Her great stepson?
No.
Wait.
It's just her stepson.
Okay.
Yeah. But they were the same age, though.
Okay.
Yeah, like stepmom and stepson. So then she married her stepson. And it was during this.
They know inbred.
I know, right? Like, you're technically not related, but it just doesn't fit right? But it was during this marriage that her fame began increasing, with several people stopping by the house for her services at all hours of the day and night. And Biddy, true to her calling in life, would never turn anyone away. So Patty's brother
became his dad?
Yeah. Patty's half-brother became his dad.
Okay.
Yeah, that would make me jump off a fucking bridge.
Yeah.
So she would help anyone, no matter the time or place. This would actually cause a lot of friction in her home life and lead to her son, Patty, leaving the home as soon as he was old enough, and he never returned, which is sad. But like, oh my God, Mom, you just married my fucking half brother.
Right. I don't even.
And like I don't even know you anymore because there's so many people just in and out of the house all fucking day long. Like, you don't even have time to sit with me. But then, not even 20 years after losing Pat, Biddy would become a widow once again at the age of 42 when John passed away in 1840 due
Men
to.
really were just dying.
That's why when you were telling me about Alice, I'm like, they just died like that. So he died of a liver ailment. Okay. Biddy barely had any time to grieve or soak in her loneliness because now she's completely alone. Like, her son is gone, her second husband / stepson's gone, her first husband's gone, but also because she was so busy all the time with her clients coming in and out of her house like it was a revolving door. Her mission on earth was to heal, cure, and bring peace to others, and she would stop at nothing to do that, and it healed her. Biddy's third marriage was to a man named Tom Flannery. He was a laborer and a native of the nearby village of Finley, who was much younger than she was, but the couple moved into a 2-room cottage on Dromore Hill in Kilbarron that was situated over a lake, and this lake would later be known as Biddy Early's Lake. So this is like, when people talk about the Biddy Early house, this is the cottage, okay? So it was here that her fame was at its all-time peak, with the house becoming more busy and crowded than ever before, which would also draw some unwanted attention from, oh my God, the things about today, from the Catholic Church. Being raised Catholic herself and living in a time where the Catholic Church held the utmost authority over people's life and openly did not approve of Biddy's practice, any bonfasas. Right. Some priests would come to see her in secret, though, a secret that she would always keep for them and never spill. And though that they would openly discourage people from seeking her help, she would always encourage people to listen to their priests and search for help from them first before coming to her, as she, like the majority, respected them and the power of God, as she only worked in white light, often calling upon the Holy Trinity to solidify all of her remedies. Yet people of the church had it out for her and would go to her cottage just to harass her, which would cause her to allegedly retaliate. The story goes that the curate from the county Tipperary wrote his... Okay, so basically this guy was like a high-up assistant to the clergy leaders and stuff. So like, he was the assistant to the high-up people within the Catholic Church.
Okay.
So he rode his horse...
The investigator.
more like the instigator. So he rode his horse all the way to her cottage on the lake just to chastise her and harass her. But as he and his horse are crossing over the last bridge that would lead to her house, he and his horse are frozen, unable to move when she approaches them out of nowhere. She told the man to take back everything bad that he had said about her. And once he finally did, she picked up 3 dry blades of grass, just fresh from the ground.
She literally was a witch.
She throws them at him and his horse like darts. Pew, pew, 3. With throwing everyone saying, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Or in the Holy Ghost is, I guess Holy Spirit's like very Baptist to me. And throws the last one, at which point he was released. And like him and his horse were unfrozen. They turned around and took off back home.
No fucking way.
Yeah. So another story goes that she and her husband, Tom, were being evicted from their cottage by the lake that was on the lake, this infamous Biddy Early's house, by their landlord, a man named Dr. Murphy, who was from Limerick, which we know how everything went in Limerick for her. They were horrible to her. They didn't like people like that. So he sent 5 officers and a sheriff to the cottage to enforce her eviction. However, when they approach, she calls out, "Stay where you are." At which point all 5 of the men all of the men go into a hypnosis and are, quote, rooted in the road for 2 hours before she releases them by saying, "Whoever will be the first to put a bar to the house, he'll remember it." The men were released. So she's like standing inside the cottage, which has like a little, it's not a fence, it's like a border around it with like rocks, like a little rock wall around it. And it's got like this little garden gate essentially at the front that she has like blocked so they can't come in. So one of the men immediately takes out a crowbar and he tries to pry open the door. The second that he wedges it between the gate and the stone, he falls to his knees in an awkward position, landing on the ground and shattering both of his femurs.
Oh?
Femurs, bitch. Petrified, the other men scoop him up and run off the property back to where they came, holding him, screaming for help. Not long after, Dr. Murphy's home in Limerick caught fire and trapped him inside, and he died.
That'll happen.
And allegedly, Biddy had warned him about this. She was like, "You are putting out such negativity. Like, your house is going to catch on fire and you're going to die. So you need to, like, chill out." And he was like, "Fuck you." And then, trying to tell you, sorry. Following these alleged instances, in 1865, Biddy Early was accused of witchcraft and was brought before the court in the town of Ennis. And the court had gathered several people who had initially agreed to testify against her. But on the day of the trial, they said, we were joking.
She's perfect.
No. So they all backed out and they went back home. They're like, yeah, no, we actually never said that we were going to do that. Therefore, she was released.
No way.
She was released for lack of sufficient evidence with the support of the majority of the local people and even some people secretly from within the church. Because mind you, they were all coming to her and she always kept their secrets that they were coming to her. 3 years after her accusal, her husband Tom would die, leaving Biddy widowed for the 3rd time in her life at the ripe age for her of 70, which is crazy back then. Mm-hmm. A year later, she would marry her 4th and final husband, a man in his 30s named Thomas Meany.
Okay, cougar.
But in exchange for a cure. So she basically had to have a man live with her because she wanted to like keep her house and shit. So she was like, yeah, you have to be married to me so I can have what I want. He agrees to marry her in exchange for a cure. They would live together in her 2-bedroom cottage on the lake until his death, which was due to the overconsumption of alcohol.
She outlived
within
him?
the year. Mm-hmm. He lived only died within the year of them getting married. So like if they got married in April, he died in October.
Damn.
Biddy
so he
Early,
was sick then. He came seeking and
he wanted a cure and she gave it to him, but he died from drinking too much alcohol. Biddy Early would go on to live 5 more years in poverty though, because she wasn't married, still healing and helping whoever she could and never turning bitter, even though there are some accounts of this that will say like she turned into an evil witch. But like most people who actually knew her that were interviewed by people, because in the grand scheme of things, this was only like she died in 1874. So it was, you know, like
little over 100 years ago.
Yeah, so they were able to like interview people who knew her and like knew of her, like the kids of the people that would heal and stuff. So anyways, the people that knew her and like the firsthand accounts of her that were collected and recorded in the mid 1900s all said that like no, she never came evil or bitter. She just stayed who she was. She just continued healing people and giving her recipes to people as were needed up until she died. And she died at approximately 76 years old on April 22nd, 1874, and was buried in the, sorry for this name fuck up again, fecal graveyard in County Clare. Something that is significant about her death is she actually had her neighbor who was like a longtime friend of hers, and actually his descendants would be some of the main people who kept the story of Biddy Early and the truth about who she was alive, like where people would try to like make her come off as this crazy witch of County Clare. All of this guy's descendants like kept her house in check and like restored it and like begged for the county to like sell it to them or like mark it as a historical property, like got the name of the lake changed. Like this is really sweet. But either way, she had this neighbor go get a priest to read her last rites before she died. So this priest arrived and did as she requested before she asked him for a final favor, the priest, which some say was actually like a long-standing deal between the priest and Biddy, because this priest was probably one
of the few. Yeah.
Basically, the deal was that at the time of her death, he would throw her magic bottle in the lake, taking the cork out so the liquid would pour out, throwing it hard enough that it would shatter so it couldn't fall into the wrong hands. And the second she died, after getting her last rites, he took it out and he did it.
Wow.
And no one has ever found this bottle, or like people, there's been dive teams that have gone out to try and find it. And
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's really crazy.
Did they say the lake is like magical?
See, I couldn't like really find much on it, but the majority of it that I found was like this guy's, the neighbor who like helped her organize all this and like took care of her in her later years. The majority of the shit that I found was like his family like lobbying for the name to be changed. So like I don't know what's going on there.
We want it named after him.
Yeah,
our
like
great. No,
they want it named to be named after Biddy Early officially, but like because all the locals call it Biddy Early's Lake, and they let the cottage just like fall into ruins, and like his family like begged for the county to like give it over. It's just like been a lot of legal shit going on since then. Anyways, so the priest did as she instructed, and the family, this neighbor, he paid for her burial and her funeral and everything. And like, I'm like, wow, she must have done something for him and his like bloodline that like changed everything. What I did notice though is like every single one of his descendants that were listed in anything, they were all doctors. And I'm like, maybe she did a little something. So anyways, at the time of her death, he threw it into the lake that would now be known as Biddy's Lake by all the locals and pretty much anyone who knows the story, allowing the mysterious liquid to pour out as it flew through the air and shatter as it all sunk to the bottom. And that is Biddy Early. There's a lot more to that, but I feel like the majority of it that's out there is like the lore about like her being an evil witch, and I don't believe in that.
Yeah, I don't either.
I think she was like a healer and an herbalist and like a really good person. Like she's a cool ass bitch, and so what? She had 15 husbands.
Yeah, who cares?
She just like
outlived them all.
Yeah, and who wouldn't want to be married to her? Like truly.
Yeah,
I would.
I loved it.
I love Biddy Early, and thank you so much, because that was actually recommended by someone like 3 years ago, and we wrote it down on our list like 3 years ago, and we didn't write who it was from. So thank you to whoever did that. I did search our emails, and so I'm assuming it wasn't in there. So I'm assuming it came through in like an Instagram DM, and that's never gonna be found again.
Yeah.
Unforged.
Yeah, no.
Happy St. Patty's Day 6.0. We've done it. We did it. Morgan,
and
you
now
got
we
notes
have to
for
do
7.0.
And now we have, I do have notes for 7.0. I would definitely revisit, but actually, I might not even keep it for 7.0. Who knows? Be a good little conspiracy theory to run around.
No, you can't. You've already done like Leap Castle and all these big major ones. You can't.
I know. I know.
All right, guys, we have to record your TVB right now. And I'm just telling you right now, don't get excited. It's not going to be long.
Yeah.
It's like 8 o'clock. We're struggling. Okay, I can barely keep my eyes open.
And we're just talking about ourselves, so.
and you know, actually, it'll end up being the longest TVB ever.
No, it cannot be because my eyes are burning.
I know, my eyes are actually burning. Okay, love you guys. Goodbye. Happy St. Patty's Day.
Happy St. Patty's Day.
Be safe this weekend, but go have fun, fuck it up, and don't forget to wear orange and enjoy wear green
and orange.
And drink a Jameson ginger lime for us because
we did not do that this year.
It's just a weekday. We can't be doing that on a weekday at the ripe age of 27 and 28. Okay. Love you all. Goodbye. Mwah.